There she is. All right, guys, so let's get started. The reason I'm doing this session for you guys today is mostly because Carly and I actually just went to Chairman's Circle back in February. And I know all these conferences look like a lot of fun, and you guys think that we're just drinking margaritas on the beach. But I do promise that for the majority of the days, we are sitting in live sessions with trainers and how we can improve our agent's business. And there was one session that really stood out to me that I thought that I could bring back to you guys, which was learning the 4 archetypes of realtors. And you guys will know there's so much training out there for all types of agents. There's people that are teaching you how to do online marketing. There's people that'll teach you how to do prospecting. There's people that are teaching you networking. There's so many different things that are always thrown at you guys. And it can get really overwhelming. And I find that agents are trying to do everything. And the reality is, every single one of you agents is completely different. You guys all have different brains, you have different skill sets, you have different things that bring you joy. But we're always trying to copy each other. We're trying to do something that's working for one agent, and we're always confused why it's not working out for us. And the real reason is because you're not following your archetype, or you don't truly understand yourself and what actually will work for you in the end. So today, I'm hoping to kind of clear the air and see if you guys can figure out which archetype that you fall into. And all you're going to ask yourself is 2 questions. And we're going to talk about those 2 questions that you need to know about yourself. And that's going to help you discover which archetype you are. I do have the understanding that some agents fall into maybe 1 or 2 archetypes, and that's okay as well. But you will find that you lean into one or more than the other. I knew exactly which 2 that I fell into right away as soon as they said it. And I could even start to point out in the brokerage some of our own agents. And I'm going to feature some of them as well and which archetypes that I think they fall into the most. Some of these agents do fall into a couple of archetypes, but I know that some of them fall into one main one. So I'm going to be talking about a few of our agents in the brokerage as well to kind of get you to relate to them, or maybe you're going to see them in the office and be like, I'm your archetype, help me. So this should be a fun session. I'm really excited about it. You guys know that I love doing things that teach you guys how to grow your business even more. So hopefully this can kind of give you guys some clarity and some understanding more about yourself and maybe where you guys should start to bring your business this year. So let's get started. If you've got questions, chuck them in the group chat. I will do my best to answer them as we go, but I probably won't answer them till the end. It can get kind of distracting. So I might just focus on that. So again, today we're going to be talking about the 4 different archetypes and where you guys fall in and what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to talk about why understanding your archetype it matters and why it matters for your business. We're going to talk about the 2 key sales spectrums, whether we're talking about warm or cold leads, or we're talking about direct and indirect selling. And those are the 2 questions that I want you guys to really ask yourself. And that's going to help you figure out which archetype you are. Now, there are only 4 different archetypes. There is the prospector, there's a converter, there's a networker, and there's a marketer. And even just reading those 4 different archetypes, you may even start to figure out which one you lean into, but let's dive right into it. This presentation was done by T360. It's a big company that does a lot of consulting with brokerages. And that was the presentation that we listened to by Jack Miller in when we were out in California. Or sorry, we weren't in California. We were in Mexico. um, so this was the presentation done by them. I didn't make these archetypes up, but I did learn a lot. I did some more research on them, and now I'm just kind of creating a presentation for you guys. So why understanding these archetypes really matters in your business. And like I said at the very beginning here, once you start to understand who you are and what works for you, it's going to really help you align what your business strategy is because you're going to start to work on your natural strengths. So what my natural strengths are may not be a natural strength for another agent and vice versa. What another agent is really good at may not work for you. So we got to stop trying to copy other agents that are doing things that we find in our weakness. And I want us to start thinking about what we're actually good at and what we enjoy doing because that's what we should be working on. We shouldn't be trying to do something that another agent's doing that's really good and realize like, oh, that's a weakness of mine. I think I need to learn how to do that. Let's scratch that idea and stop trying to be something that we're not and start to understand what we already have within us. And that's going to align your business strategy with those strengths that you already have inside of you. Once you figure out this archetype, it's also going to increase your efficiency because now you're just going to focus on generating business for methods that actually are going to work for you instead of doing all these different methods that will not work for you ever. So we're going to stop doing that. We're going to start to figure out what is working for us and how we can do more of it. It's also going to reduce burnout because now you're going to avoid strategies that feel completely unnatural to you. So if you've been out there door knocking and you hate it and you despise it, but you keep doing it because you feel like that's what you should be doing, you're going to burn yourself out because you're doing things that are not enjoyable to you. Same thing if you're like, oh, I need to get on video and do social media, but really like you hate doing it and it's something that you despise doing it, but you feel like you should be doing it. That's going to also cause burnout because you're doing things that are unnatural to you. So we're also going to learn how to enhance your ability to kind of scale and grow your business sustainably based off of what is actually going to be of interest to you. So we don't need to be everything and everything to everybody. We don't need to be good at online and offline methods. We just need to work on the things that we're already good at inside of ourselves and start to focus on that. So that's why it's important today to figure out which one you are and then start to focus on these things. Another question. So a lot of us sisters, my sisters and I, we came into the business and we learned from our father who's been doing this for many, many years. And how we make our business decisions, whether it's where we should spend our money or our time, does it make us money? Does it save us money? And my sisters and I added a third part to that, which is, does it bring you joy? And if it makes you money, awesome. You should be doing that. If it saves you money, awesome. You should be doing that. But more importantly, does it bring you joy as well? Because in this business, it's really easy to get caught up in the hustle culture. It's easy to get caught up in doing things that feel unnatural to us. And that's what's going to make you hate this business even more. So we want to also bring some joy into this business. So you're actually enjoying this business and you're doing it because you want to. We all got into this business to make money, to live a certain lifestyle, but we also wanted to get into this business because it brings us joy. And maybe our full-time job prior to this, most of us come into this as our third career because our other careers weren't bringing us joy that we thought maybe real estate might. And it's easy to lose that joy when you start to do things that don't bring you joy. But I promise you, once you start to figure out your strengths and what you're actually good at and what you actually like to do, you're going to find that your business is going to bring you a lot more joy because you're doing the things that you want to be doing. So when we're asking these questions, I want you to think more about what brings you joy versus what you think that you should be doing. And I'm going to ask you guys two questions after this to figure out what archetype you are. But when you're answering these questions, don't answer it based off of what you think you should enjoy doing. Answer it honestly on what you like it to be. Okay, there's no giant quiz, just two questions we're going to ask you. So let's talk about question one. There's two different key sales spectrums for realtors. That's it. There's not very many ways to find business. There's no secret pill, but there is two different methods. There is direct selling and there's indirect selling. So as a realtor, I want you to sit today and I want you to write down right now on a piece of paper or even in this chat. Actually, let's do it in the chat. Would you rather do direct selling, which means you are the type of agent that prefers to go after the sale? You prefer to do more one-on-one interactions. You prefer to do direct outreach. You prefer to do calling, door knocking, meeting people in person. You prefer to go after the business. That is your method. So let me know in the chat if you find that you're a direct seller. And I'll give you an example. So we learned the story of our grandfather, Percy, and I would have considered him a direct seller because of this. Um, his parents owned a fish and chips restaurant down on the Danforth, and he would work there. And he would get really frustrated because he would watch customers walk by the door. And that really bothered him because he would have rather been able to go after the client and be like, come into my business, come learn about me, which is what got him into real estate because he wanted to have that type of control where he wasn't waiting for people to come to him. He was going to go out and get the sales himself. So I would have considered probably Percy to be a direct seller. So let me know in the comments if you are someone that prefers to go direct. And it doesn't matter which one you are. My other side of the spectrum are agents that prefer to do indirect selling. So if you are an indirect seller, you prefer people to come to you, whether it's through your content marketing, whether you're doing automation, whether you're doing online leads, advertisements. You want people to come to you versus you going directly to them. So again, put in the chat, let me know if you're an indirect or a direct seller. I even say someone in the chat, Percy was definitely direct. Okay, so I got a lot of indirects, directs. Awesome. So write that down. So you are either a direct seller or an indirect. So keep this question in mind. The other question I want you to ask yourself is there's a thing called warm leads and there's a thing called cold leads. So there are some agents, believe it or not, that prefer to work with complete strangers, and there are some agents that prefer to work with people that they already know. So, warm leads, these are typically leads that come from the people that you already know, whether it's through your sphere of influence, you go out to networking events, whether it's agents, client to client, business to business. These are warm leads. You prefer to work with people that you already know or have met in some capacity, friend of a friend, something like that. You are a warm leads person. So put in the comments if you prefer to work with people that you know. The other spectrum, believe it or not, this one always shocked me, is cold leads, because I have agents out there that would rather be dragged through glass than to ask their friend for business. They don't want to do business with friends and family. They prefer to work with complete strangers. They don't want to work with the people that they know. Now, we already know that most success comes from working with people that you already know. But I do know agents, when I sit with them, I'm like, just call your friends and family. They're like, I don't want to call my friends and family. I don't want them to know. I'm embarrassed to talk to them. Or you may have come into this business with no network at all. Maybe you're new to the area and your strangers is the only option that you have. So that might be your only option, is to work with strangers because you don't have a big network. Maybe you're young and your friends and family aren't buying real estate with you. There could be many reasons, but I want you to now ask yourself, would you prefer to work with warm leads or would you prefer to work with cold leads? Okay, I'm checking the chat, indirect, direct. Let's go to warm. Perfect. Okay, so you guys are going to see that we've got different options here. I see Kate Jones got indirect and cold with a little scary face. Don't be scared because I know exactly what archetype you are. Okay, so now that you've got those two questions written down, either you're a direct or indirect seller, or you prefer to, or you work with warm and cold leads. Ask yourself these two questions because now I'm going to explain what your archetype is. Okay, so in the chat, I'd also love to know which archetype you are because how fun is it? I like to do little quizzes and learning more about ourselves. So if you said that you prefer to go after the sale, but you prefer to work with complete strangers, I would consider you to be a prospector. Okay, you prefer to work with leads, and I'm going to describe you a little bit more, but if those are the two options you chose, you are a prospector. If you said that you prefer people to come to you or complete strangers to come to you, I would consider you to be a converter. If you prefer to go directly for the sale, but you prefer to work with your network and do with your sphere of influence, referrals, stuff like that, I would consider you to be a networker. And if you said that you prefer people to come to you and you prefer to work with warm leads or people that are warm bodies that you get to know, you like to build relationships, I would consider you to be a marketer. Now, you may fall into two of these categories, but before you even saw these categories, that would be your main one. Before you even saw these are the ones that I would consider you. So if you're in the chat, let me know. Are you a prospector, a converter, a networker, or a marketer? I myself fall into two categories. I fall into the marketer for sure. And I've got a lot of networker in myself as well. Yeah. Networking for myself doesn't come as naturally as being a marketer does, but I know that these two go hand in hand as well. You may also notice some of my agents that said that you were a prospector heavily may find that you're also somewhat of a converter as well. Perfect. You see a converter with a devil. It doesn't matter, guys. There's no right or wrong answer for what you are. This is just what you are. I don't want you to pretend what you aren't. Yeah, my sisters and I are networkers when we're with each other. Good. Marketer, prospector. Awesome. I love to see all these. So again, if you are new to this chat, if you're just coming in now, I asked you guys two questions. Do you prefer to directly go after the business, or do you indirectly prefer the business to come to you? And if do you prefer to work with cold leads, which are complete strangers, or do you prefer to work with people that you already know? Once you know those two questions, it's going to answer which archetype you are. Perfect. So I see a comment here saying, I'm a prospector, but I prefer to get to networker. No, guys, scratch that out. If you want to get to a place, that is you trying to be something that is not natural to you. I want you to discover what is natural to you. Sure, I would love to be a prospector. I would love to have the ability to go door knocking, but that's not my natural instinct. I am much better in one category. So don't tell me what you guys don't prefer to be something. I want you to genuinely look into what you already are, because this is the problem with realtors right now is we know we're one thing, but we want to be something else. And then we try to be that something else and it's not natural and the business doesn't come flowing and it doesn't bring you joy. Okay, so there's no right or wrong answer for what you are. Okay, so again, if you were a prospector, I'm just going to give you this may actually enhance maybe a little bit more of what you think you are. But for my prospectors, you typically thrive on cold outreach, but something that you really struggle with is long-term nurturing. So you are the type of people that prefer to go straight for the deal. You're looking for hot leads. You're looking for people that are ready to go now. But something that just doesn't come natural to you is nurturing that relationship over time and trying to get them to do something with you in the future. You have that weakness, and that is okay. That is why you are a prospector. If you said you were a converter, you are great at nurturing leads. You are the opposite of a prospector. You can get the leads, but you're okay to nurture that relationship and convert them from a complete stranger into a transaction with yourself. The thing that drains you as a converter is you get drained by direct prospecting. You would, again, rather get dragged through glass by cold calling. You would rather not. You would rather people come to you and you'll nurture that relationship. That is the difference between you and a prospector. A prospector wants that live, hot transaction. A converter is okay with patience to be able to convert that lead. If you said you were a networker, you are great at personal relationships. You are the life of the party. You like to go to networking events. You like to go to family barbecues, all the things that have people involved. You love that. You love building relationships with your own network. But what you do find hard is online lead generation. You don't know how to work the internet. You don't know how to work online lead gen techniques. You're terrible at using technology most of the time, but you're really good in person. And if you're a marketer, you are awesome with branding. You know how to promote yourself, you know how to promote your business, you know how to use proper colors, you know how to be online. And something that you dislike doing is face-to-face prospecting. You know, like again, doing an open house would give you nightmares, but being on the internet, no problem. So that would be me. Okay, so again, do these things match up to you guys? Like say yes if this kind of goes with who you are. And again, you may fall into two of these categories, but you're definitely going to lean towards one. And I don't want you to choose one based off what you want to be. I want you to choose what you are. Perfect. Crazy. Awesome. Okay, so these are matching up. Now, this I don't want you to turn off on the next slide, okay? Because the next slide can be a little daunting for my prospectors and converters. So don't get shocked by this number. I'm going to tell you guys what the conversion rates of this are for you guys. So if you said that you were a prospector, typically, these agents have a 1 to 4% conversion rate. So this just means that you are doing the cold calls, you're doing all that. It's going to take you a lot more cold people to talk to get a client. So you have that understanding that you are this is all a numbers game to you guys. You know that 200 phone calls may lead into an appointment, which may lead into a client. That is your math. That is exactly how you run your business. 1 in 4 leads turns into a client. This is your jam, but you're okay with that. You're okay going to find that stranger that's going to do deals with you. If you're a converter, you have a 1 to 5% conversion rate. So again, these are people that are doing things that are getting strangers to come to them. Again, you're gathering as many leads as possible in order to get that buyer or seller client. That's okay. 1 to 5% conversion rates. But you may want, if you guys are in the prospector and converter, you may dabble into these other archetypes once in a while. It's just not your natural strength. If you're a networker, you have an 85% conversion rate. And that's because you're working with complete people that already know you, they schmooze you. People like to work with people that they know. So you may even have like less leads than what a prospector and converter may get, but people are reaching out to you. They're like, hey, I want to work with you. I'm ready to buy and sell. These are people that are already hot and warm, already know you. They already know they're going to work with you. So you have a really high conversion rate at 85%. As a marketer, we have about a 40% conversion rate. So if you're talking to someone, they're watching all your content, they're watching your marketing, you have a 40% chance of getting a client from all those people that are watching you. I had a question here. Is comfort in all four archetypes a superpower or sign of greater confusion? I'm going to say it's a sign of greater confusion. So if you think you fall into all of these and you're struggling in your business, this is why. We got to understand who we are. I just find it hard that you can be all of these. I think that you can fall into two categories, but I don't think anyone falls into all four. I think we want to be all four. It's like for me, I always had this weakness where I wanted to be like my dad or like my sisters, and I want to be a math person so bad. And I've learned, you know what, over the years, I'm not the math girl. I'm not the girl that's going to be throwing out stats and all that stuff, but I am the girl that is creative brained. And although I would love to be the numbers girl, I'm not. It's not my natural ability to do numbers. That's not my thing. So I've learned I'm a creative brain person and I've learned to accept it. So we got to learn to like be okay with our strengths and be okay knowing that we have weaknesses and they're not going to get better. All right, so let's dive into each of these types of prospectors and some of the characteristics, and then we're going to talk about different prospecting and marketing activities that you should be working on and what technology that you should have in your business. So for all my prospectors, I've got Shiv Bansal here. He's our number one agent in the brokerage. He's been with us for many, many years. I would 100% call this man a prospector. I don't even know if Shiv's on the call or if anyone on his team is on the call, but if you knew Shiv, you know that he is a prospector. This type of person, and I've got a few other people I'm going to name as well after this, but these are the types of people, again, they love direct selling. They're always looking for new business opportunities with complete strangers. So again, numbers game is all you are. You're like, all right, I need to I need to talk to 200 people to get eight appointments to get two listings, something like that. Okay. 1 in 4 leads turns into a sale. That is all your brain is always thinking about math and how many people I can talk to get the deal. I would also consider a prospector a very strong closer. These are people that are talking to complete strangers. You got to have scripts. You got to understand how to convert a complete stranger into a client. You are typically a very strong person at the closing table and you know how to get a contract sold. You're direct. If you're an indirect person, typically this is not your strong suit. We're not strong closers. We're like, okay, no problem. Let me know when you're ready. Like we just have different personalities than what a prospector would have. Other agents that I've got at the brokerage, Kathy and Susan, I would consider also prospectors. I think Susan's on the call with us. Not sure if Kathy's there, but let me know if you ladies are on here. These are two women that I would also consider prospectors because, for example, Kathy loves to door knock. Getting her on social media or doing marketing, not her jam, but she loves to prospect for new business. She loves to talk to people. She loves calling her clients. She loves calling strangers, door knocking, no problem. Same with Susan. She's on the phone every morning. She's in the office. She's calling neighborhoods saying, hey, a property just sold in the neighborhood. Have you thought about selling? And Susan's on the phone cold calling complete strangers trying to get their business. Geographic farming, that's something that Shiv is really good at. He's going to spend lots of money to get flyers sent out to neighborhoods every single month, not once a month, not after every sale, well, after every sale, but he's got mail flyers going out to all the neighborhoods. These guys are also probably attending networking events that have potential sellers as well. Direct mail campaigns, if you are a prospector doing direct mail, these are more traditional methods, direct mail campaigns to specific neighborhoods, newspaper ads, just listed, just sold postcards, as well as doing community sponsorships, getting your names all over kids' hockey jerseys, you're on billboards, you're on bus stops, stuff like that. These are the types of marketing that's going to work for you. So if you said that you were a prospector, these are the types of activities that you should be focusing on. That's it. Don't worry about the other stuff that's out there. Maybe you dabble into a few other things as well that we're going to talk about. But if you said you were a prospector, starting now, These are the activities that work in your strengths. And if you said that you're a prospector and you're like, no, actually, that's not me, I would never do any of those, maybe it's not. But these are the types of people that I would consider. I've got Erin and Celine. I would also consider these ladies prospectors as well. They may also fall on the spectrum of a converter as well, and you'll learn a little bit more about that. But for sure, these ladies, you can tell that there's a lot of women in my prospectors here. But if you considered yourself a prospector, like I would consider different technology that you should be investing in. All you need is a simple CRM. You don't need anything big. You're just doing a CRM for all those leads that you're tracking. Like I said, you're terrible at long-term relationships. You're bad at follow-ups, but you're really good at outreach to those leads. So you just really need a simple CRM. Scripts. These are super important. And I have agents all the time that are my social media people. They're like, I need scripts. And I'm like, scripts is not your strength. Scripts is for my cold callers. Scripts is for my people that are working with direct strangers that don't know them. So these are things that you need to be working on. These are things that you need to focus on is learning scripts. Like Mike Ferry, he's got good scripts. So if you said that this was your type of archetype, you should be looking to learn how to do script training, stuff like that. You only need a simple website. You don't need anything fancy. All you need is a website there in case maybe you did some cold calling, people looked up your name. They just need to see that you're a real human. So you don't need to worry about having anything flashy in terms of technology. You just need a simple website. The challenges that my prospectors are going to deal with is that it's time consuming. You are the people that are like, okay, from 9 to 12, I got to do my cold calls. It's a lot of manual calling, a lot of manual labor. And that's one of the downsides to being a prospector as your archetype. It also requires a lot of consistency and a lot of resilience. You are relying completely on yourself to make things happen. And that's what makes you a good prospector. All right. So again, put your hands up if this sounds like you for all my prospector. I see Carly's like, yep, Erin does all of these. I know Celine's out there door knocking as well. She calls them the walkabouts. Erin's again a cold caller. I would say Kathy's both door knocking, calling. Susan's cold calling. Shiv started his whole business cold calling, and he's still out there doing the door knocking, flyers, all that. So if you are one of my prospectors and maybe you're doing cold calling, maybe you might want to think about doing some flyers for adding some flyers for doing farming and stuff like that. So of those different things that we talked about, maybe there's some extra things that you can now add to your business that maybe you're not doing today. All right, who are my converters? I know I've got some converters. This one's a tricky one as well. I would consider Mo. So Mo's in the brokerage. I don't know if he's on the call today, but he's someone that I would consider. Oh yeah, he's there. Perfect. I would consider Mo a converter. These are types of people that again prefer complete strangers to come to them. And the way that we do this is through generating high volumes of leads through many different platforms. Online lead generation would be one of them. But again, these are people that are okay to do the follow up and do the check ins and check in with past cold leads. Whereas again, the prospectors are just there to generate leads, but they're not going to be following up with you very good. It's one of their weaknesses. So these guys are really good at nurturing, getting a lead and then nurturing it, knowing that they're not going to do anything right away. And they're either doing direct follow-ups or they've set up a really good system to do automated follow-ups through a CRM platform, which is what Mo does himself. So I'm not saying that these people get sales and they're really good at like manually cold calling them because they don't like calling. They are indirect people. So usually they're using technology to generate these leads and then nurture them as well. Mo and I did a really good YouTube session last year, I believe it was, where we did a session on do online leads really work. We whipped up all of his leads. Mo spent about, I think he said he spent $30,000 on online leads last year. He made $60,000 from it. So it's one of those things, and we're going to talk about that. But online leads is one of the ways that he does his business. As a converter, I've got Michael Smith here as well. As a converter, again, you prefer people to come to you, complete strangers to come to you, and then nurture the relationship. Michael, I would say, is really good at open houses. So if you are an open house person, you may be considered a converter, or open houses is something that you should be adding into your tool belt. These are people that are doing different activities to generate as many people to come into an open house for them. They're going to capture the leads. They're going to do a good job at following up with them. and then eventually they're going to become a client. So again, if you prefer people to come to you, you like to work with strangers, open houses is where you're at. And that's where Michael really thrives. And that's probably where he'll be focusing a lot of his business on. These types of agents also work with referral-based leads. So sometimes Michael will do outreach to agents and get referrals from them. Other agents, same thing. If you're a converter, you may be good at partnering with other agents, sharing deals, doing referrals, stuff like that. If you're like Mo, again, paid lead generation. So companies like Agent Locator, Lion's Desk, these are my people. So a lot of people want to get into online leads, and it's one of the questions I get the most from brand new agents is, I want leads, I want leads. That's great, but not everyone is meant to do the online lead game. Again, this is for people that are good at following up with people, but you're going to notice when I talk about the marketing techniques, you also need to be very good at technology. If you suck at technology, this is not for you, but open houses, no problem. These types of agents typically have nurture campaigns for cold leads, so email marketing. Sometimes we're on online real estate forums. So if this is you, you should be on different online forums where there's realtors involved, doing agent to agent referrals, stuff like that. Going like just being online and paying attention to forums to see if you can spot any leads from those as well. These are complete strangers. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to keep up with the chat too. If you're a converter, different marketing techniques that you need to be thinking about. You should have automated email and text drip campaigns, whether you're paying for them or running them yourself. You need to have an SEO optimized website for lead capture. So whether you've got landing pages on there for people to get home evaluations, a list of homes under $700,000, whatever it is, you need landing pages and you need to be doing paid ads to direct people to these pages to collect leads. And you also need a really strong CRM that does personalized touch points and does follow-ups for you. So these are the types of technology that you need to have. Again, converters are very special people because these are technology-based agents. USAN is another agent that I would consider a converter. These guys all use Follow-Up Boss, for example. So if you're thinking about doing online leads, stuff like that, you need to have an advanced CRM, but you also need to understand how to use it because it's going to be a lead incubator that's going to follow up with all those leads that you captured that hopefully you can help convert. These are complete strangers. You also need to have the lead capture website with search functions and some sort of automated text and email follow-up. Like I said, these people are good at nurturing relationships. Doesn't necessarily have to be with them because they hate prospecting. But when they've got these automated follow-ups in the background, they're able to have these relationships be maintained through technology and then converted by person. The challenges that these agents typically have is it does require a budget for leads. Like I said, Mo spent $30,000 to make $60,000. He had to pay a lot for this. So being a converter is a very expensive archetype to have unless you're doing open houses. And you're also dependent on third-party websites. So we're relying on other technology to make sure that everything's running properly. And that's kind of one of the challenges. So this would be very uncomfortable for someone that prefers to go out there directly and grab their leads. This is comfortable for people that prefer to sit back, have their leads coming into them, and then they'll have technology and automation nurturing the relationships for them. So I didn't see a lot of converters. I don't find that there's a lot of converters. There's a lot of people that want to be converters. They want to do the online lead generation way, but this is not in your strength for everybody. Okay, my networkers. Where are my networkers at today? Put it in the chat if you're a networker. I would say Steve. If anyone knows Steve Margaronis, I would consider him to be a networker. He's a guy that I feel like everybody knows him. If you go out in public, somebody knows Steve or someone knows someone that knows Steve. People just know who he is out in the community. These are types of people that they will do direct outreach to their own network and ask business from the people that they already know. These guys are all about relationships. They're good at maintaining connections with people. They're checking in on how the family's doing. They know everyone's names. They know their grandparents' names. They know what's going on in the family. These are people that are just people-pleasing people. They like to build relationships and they like to work with the people that they already know. And typically, these people are able to sustain a steady stream of business just through repeat and referrals of the people that they know. These are for my really highly extroverted people, I would say as well. I would also consider my YIM team to be networkers as well. Um, just like Steve, just like the YIMs, these are people that are working again with people that they already know. You'll find the YIM team at the Century 21 conferences. They've got a booth there every single year. They're getting cards from other realtors all across Century 21 Canada, and they're trying to build a networking event or a networking group, asking referrals from other realtors. It doesn't necessarily have to be your friends and family, but these people are building networks with agents in the Century 21 system. So they're asking referrals. That is exactly why people have those networking booths at these conferences. And they do a really good job at building relationships with other realtors in the community. These are people that are okay to call their friends and family, reach out to them, asking them for business, checking in on people, seeing how they're doing. Typically, these are people that are hosting client appreciation events. So instead of doing one-on-ones, they like to have all their clients at one giant activity. I know Steve, even you, Sam, I feel like would pop into this one once in a while. Because these are agents that like to do, they'll throw like photo shoots with Santa at Christmas time, have all their clients come to those events. These are people that are throwing barbecues. I think Morale, I would even consider. I don't know if she's on the call. Morale's throwing agent events as well, or client events every year, picnics, stuff like that. These are people that are getting business through their clients, through their networking. They're always bringing people together to try to grow their business that way. They're going to charity events as well, networking groups. Different things that work for them to stay in touch with people would be doing pop buys. So these are just small gifts that they're just dropping off at past clients' houses and asking directly for referrals. So if you are a networker, these are different activities that you should be focused on that are going to work really well with your own strengths. Different marketings, I would say they dabble into social media. They're not the people that are on social media all the time, but they poke, they put their face on there, they do the posts, but you're not going to catch them trying to be an influencer or doing any branding of any sort, but they will try to be on social media to engage with their audience. Their friends and family are on their social media networks, so they're typically on there. They usually just do a simple monthly email newsletter to their sphere of influence, friends, family, let them know what's going on in the market. Handwritten thank you notes to clients, friends, family. These go a long way for my networkers, and even video testimonials from happy clients. So if you're a networker, these are the activities that work for you. Sanic, of course, is a networker. If anyone knows Sanic, you know that he's the guy that's bringing all the people together. He's bringing the vibes. He gets most of his business from his network. What you've noticed from all the agents that I've mentioned, and if you considered yourself a networker, the only tools that you guys typically need is just a basic CRM to put your friends and family's phone numbers, addresses, email addresses on there to send them a monthly newsletter. If you're doing a website, I think it's really good for you guys to have a nice website, but also have your client testimonials on there. Or you're really good, you should have a Google business page and have testimonials on there. You guys are good with working with your network. People are really good at leaving you good reviews. So if you are considered a networker, you should have somewhere where all your client testimonials are located for people to find. Again, you're using social media just to stay visible. We're not trying to be social media influencers. We're just trying to stay visible for our friends and family. Anytime Sanic posts something on social media, he posts maybe a few times a year. This guy gets so many views, so many comments, so many likes. His posts blow up every single time he posts on there because it's so rare, but he has such a good group of friends and family and supporters that they're always commenting on them. So these people are really good at just building a little bit of a social media presence that works for them. Who's And alcohol, yes. I believe Sanic is on the chat as training room right now. So alcohol works for him. That's considered a pop by gift. So Sanic would be someone that would go drop off a bottle of wine at a past client's house, or he's at Costco. He thought of a client. He's going to buy them something that thought of them. That's what networkers do. They're all about supporting their network, staying in touch with them, building relationships. That's what the networkers do. The challenge that my networkers have is it's hard to scale beyond your personal network. So they're always trying to think about, okay, here's my network, but you do have to grow the network. You have to make it bigger. So you need to stay in touch and try to become friends with your friends' friends, and you need to grow the network. So you're always constantly trying to figure out how can you grow this community because this is your business. So you can't just stay too small. We got to grow the network. And they also risk staying too comfortable. So sometimes we can't always work with people that we all know. So sometimes we become too comfortable and then it becomes stagnant. So for my networkers, you're always looking to grow your network and continue to expand your client base that way. So networkers, these guys, again, they got 85% conversion rate. So not too bad. My marketers, my final archetype. I've got us here. I would consider the Fulton sisters definitely to be marketers. These are types of people or types of agents that prefer people to come to us. We want people to DM us. We want people to call us, email us saying, hey, I'm looking to buy or sell real estate. I've been watching all of your stuff. I see you all over the internet. I see you on buses. I see you all over the place. These are people that are coming to us. But typically, we prefer to work with people that are already in our network that we're building relationships with either online or in person. Typically, we understand who our target audience needs are and what they desire. And a lot of the time, we're just focused on marketing. So we have a strong brand focused presence that's all about storytelling and marketing ourselves and our services all the time. We're basically just talking about me all the time. We're really good at putting the word out about who we are and what we offer to people. So this is good for, again, people that want warm leads to come to us, our marketers. I've also got the L team here. I've got Elizabeth and Loretta. I would consider them to also be marketers for sure. Again, these are girls that are building their leads through social media branding. So if you're a marketer, you're probably on social media, you're probably on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, and you're attracting leads through your social media presence, doing consistent video marketing. We're offering free resources in exchange for contact information. So we are the type of realtors that are going to be putting out buyer guides, seller guides. Give us your email address in exchange for a guide. And then we're putting them on email marketing systems after that to nurture the relationships. Loretta and Elizabeth do a really good job at promoting webinars and in-person workshops and networking events with other like local influencers and businesses. They're out there promoting themselves that way and doing like first-time homebuyer seminars. They're doing business-to-business networking events. So they're out there and they're a brand basically. That's what the marketers are really good at is putting themselves out there on video, networking online, but also going to in-person seminars and stuff like that or hosting them. If you're a marketer, you need to start looking into different marketing things that require high quality video content, whether you're hiring a videographer, whether you're getting cameras and you're doing the content yourself. You might be doing ads on Facebook and Google, email marketing. Like I said, we're collecting contact information from webinars, workshops, free resources, and then we're putting them onto email marketing with value-driven content. So we're always educating people. We love to talk about how to buy your first home, how do you do investments, how do you sell a home. So a lot of our content is very value-driven and educational. That's put onto the internet or talking a lot about ourselves. And they're typically, when you have a website, you've got a website that also has these resources on it, plus a lot of flash and a lot of branding as well. So Natsumi, again, she's also, I would consider a marketer as well. She's always posting out tips. She's got her Hey Buyers, Listen Up. She's out there also. She just did a first-time homebuyer seminar in Mandarin. So she's creating her own community of people, speaking a whole other language, and that's her people. And she's talking both languages on social media to attract multiple audiences. So she does a really great job at doing marketing as well. If you are a marketer, all you need is you do need a custom website that has a lot of resources on it. So you should have like free home evaluations. You should have buyer guides, seller guides, places for people to sign up for more resources from you. Your website's usually like blog type. You like when you're doing your newsletters, you love to educate people and almost like talk to them. Video and social media presence as well. The challenges that a lot of marketers have is that it can be expensive. So if you are investing into doing branded photo shoots, for example, you're paying for a photographer, a studio, hair, makeup, fashion. If you're taking it a step into the branding world, you're paying marketing companies to help you create logos, fonts, colors, stuff like that. You're hiring videographers a lot of the time to do stuff for you, to post for you. And it does take time to build an audience. So those are some of the challenges that my marketer people have. So how does that sound to you guys? Those are all the archetypes. Did you guys find that you definitely resonate with one? Hopefully you guys do, but let me know in the chat below if you really resonated with your archetype. And I'll wait. So, just as a conclusion to all of this stuff, I honestly believe that understanding your real estate archetype is super crucial for building a sustainable and fulfilling business. So, not only a business that's sustainable, but one that actually brings you joy and stuff. You're doing the things that you like to do, and you're doing lead generation and marketing that actually aligns with like what you're naturally good at and what you naturally like to do. And that's going to actually maximize that efficiency. It's going to reduce your burnout and it's going to give you consistent results. You're going to bring in way more businesses if you start to pay attention to those things that you're actually really good at. Carly makes a good point here. There's lots of teams as well. There's team leaders that do really good at, they have their own archetype and they want their team members to also be their archetypes. But this is a really good session for my team leaders as well to understand that your team players may have a different archetype than you, but hopefully now you can kind of play on their archetypes and figure out and push them to what actually works for them. So this is, like Carly said, this is really good for team member or team leaders to recognize that maybe you're a cold caller, but that might freak the crap out of one of your team members, but they're going to be really good at social media. So we might be able to leverage off of different archetypes as well in your team. And maybe you're finding different types of archetypes. It makes a really awesome team because you all have different strengths that can really come together. So hopefully knowing that it's going to help you guys build your business a lot better. Just to summarize it all, my prospectors, again, you guys thrive on direct outreach. You love working with strangers. You like to use persistence and structure. You guys like structure to generate a business, but you guys struggle with long-term lead generation nurture. Don't try to correct that. That is your weakness. That is your weakness. That is probably a natural weakness that is going to be very hard to fix. So don't try to like come up with some different way to go nurture the business too hard. Focus more on doing more cold calling or more door knocking and going more outreach. Just focus more on doing that outreach than trying to come up with some sort of way to nurture those leads because that's not your natural ability. My converters, you guys are amazing at nurturing and converting leads over time through your strong follow-ups, but you hate prospecting. So stop prospecting. Stop doing those door knocking things. Just find a better way to generate more and more leads coming to you through your online platforms, do more open houses, whatever that is. Just do better at bringing in more people to you and then continue to build strong follow-up systems that work for you as well. If you are my networker, keep leveraging those personal relationships and referrals to grow your business organically. But if you're trying to get into online lead generation, stop it. If you're trying to be some tech guru, stop it. You may not be online at all. You may just be an offline person that's really good at networking. So don't stress yourself out trying to do all these different things that are not going to work for you. You are a people person. That is who you are. Stop trying to be the internet person and have all this high technology stuff that you think you need because you're already good enough about being in person with people. And then again, my marketers, you are my people that are using branding, you're doing content marketing, digital strategies to attract people, but you hate face-to-face prospecting. So stop door knocking, stop doing that stuff that requires you to pull something out of you that you hate. Just continue to make more and more content online, make more videos, do more online webinars, seminars, stuff like that. Keep working and building your audience and focus on that. Don't worry about those other strategies. Again, some of you may fall into two, but none of you are all four. And if you think you're all four, you're lying to yourself. You're not all four, but you may teeter into them. Like I said, I'm probably mostly a marketer, but I'll dabble into the networking when I'm with my sisters, which is the comfort level. And that's how we build that as well. All right, so I've got 4 action items for you guys today, and I want you to write these down. So now that you guys know your archetype, I want you to track your results. So if you've been in the business for a while, I want you to actually go back and figure out where all your business actually comes from And then I want you to allocate more time and resources there. So I want you to go deal by deal. Where did this deal come from? Where did this deal come from? Where did this deal come from? That's going to tell you where you should be spending more time. So if you're like, hey, I got way more business doing open houses, all these are from open houses. Yeah, I'm spending all my time doing social media content. Maybe we should spend more time doing more open houses instead of trying to get on video doing more of that. Or blend the two, but don't be struggling to do that. Maybe you're a cold caller and you're trying to be on TikTok. No, just focus on cold calling. TikTok's not your thing, right? So figure out where most of your business is coming from and allocate more time there. Now that you guys know your archetype and you know where your strengths are and you know where the weaknesses are, I want you guys to invest now in training and tools and mentorships to actually enhance that. So if you found that you were a prospector, and maybe scripts. We got to work on scripts. You may be someone that may be signing up for a Mike Ferry conference or learning how to do scripts. Get on YouTube, check out, try different scripts that will work for you. Write your own scripts. Come up with a schedule that works for your prospecting and invest in more training that's going to enhance those things. Not more training to enhance your social media presence because that's not your strength. Enhance the things that you're already good at. If you were a converter, maybe you want to invest more training in how to generate more leads online and how to do better automated follow-up. Look into different CRMs like Follow Up Boss that's going to actually help you convert those people into clients. If you were a networker, maybe you want to invest in more networking events. Maybe you want to sign up for more mentoring or more networking events with other people. Maybe you want to start to accept more invitations to baby showers, birthday parties, anything like that in the community. Maybe investing your more time out there, or maybe even learning how to network better. If you're a marketer, maybe you're investing more training in how to gain more followers on social media, how to do video marketing. Maybe you're investing in algorithms, stuff like that. You're doing more research on how to do better on social media and branding. Then I want you to eliminate what drains you. So let go of all those tactics and those things that are just not bringing you joy and replace them with strategies that do. So stop trying to do the things that are not natural to you and trying to be something you're not, and start investing more time into the things that you are actually really good at and just eliminate it. Take it off your shoulders, breathe. I know when I started doing that, it allows you to breathe a little bit better because you're not trying to be something that you're not. And then I want you to outsource when needed. So again, if you were a marketer, maybe you know you want to be on video more. So maybe you need to start looking up videographers that will help you film those videos, do those scripts for you, and then help you post those things. Maybe if you're a prospector and you want to do more just listed, just sold postcards, maybe we're outsourcing and we're hiring companies that will print and do the mail outs for us to do the farming. So giving us more time to do other activities. What else do we got? If you're doing open houses, maybe you're outsourcing people to do your directional signs or getting people to do the flyers to invite people to your open houses. So think of things that will actually help you leverage those different activities that you're doing. If you're a converter, maybe you're looking into those companies that will do your Facebook and Instagram ads and actually bring you the leads. And then you got the CRM platforms to help you nurture them. So that's your homework for this week. Does anyone have any questions? I could see. Okay. I could do the creative stuff all day, but I do feel I may need to. Nope, this is the problem. You don't need to. I am a creative person. See, this is where we get stuck, guys, where we say, okay, I'm good at this, but I need to do this. Like, no, let's say, Kate, you are a marketer. If you're a creative person, you just need to be doing more content marketing and DMing people and building an audience online. You're still speaking to people. You're just not face to face with people. And that's where we get confused. You are always talking to people in every single one of these archetypes. You're still speaking to people. If you are a prospector, you're directly outreaching and speaking to people. If you're a converter, you are doing different ways to get people to come to you, and you're going to speak to the people that come to you. If you're a networker, you're just always talking to people. And if you're online and you're a marketer, people are coming to you and you're speaking to the people that naturally relate to your content. And you're going to be talking to people more in the DMs, email, texting. That's how we talk to people all the time. Don't get confused by the marketing and that it's not talking to people. Like I said about Elle, the L group. And even at Sumi, they're posting social media content on working with buyers and sellers, but then they're hosting in-person first-time home buyer seminars. So they are speaking to people, but they're getting people to speak to them through their social media platforms. Perfect. Does anyone else? Top two. I'm reading this. Top two for 1 hour session spent on education in 9 years. Perfect. Yes, don't suffer from FOMO. Okay, so this is the thing that us agents do is they suffer from fear of missing out, and then they end up spinning their wheels, or they see another agent doing successful at another thing and feel like they need to be doing that. That's not true. Just focus on what you're good at. If I asked Sanic, for example, my market or my networker, if I even asked him to get on a cold call, no way. That guy is not cold calling. First of all, he likes to work with people that he knows and he likes to go directly to them. But he's not going to go directly to, well, he might go completely to direct strangers, but he's not cold calling people like that. Maybe a prospector might be Sanic's second one. So, like I said, you may have like a little second one that sometimes you can tap into. Teams. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, so that's all I've got for you guys. If you think of any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Hopefully, you figured out what your archetype is, what marketing you need to do, what type of lead generation activities you need to do, and it's making more sense to you. Maybe you're hopping on YouTube after this and looking up different things that work for your archetype. If not, I'm happy to help you guys out. But hopefully that made it a little bit more clear on what you guys should be working on. And that's all I've got for you guys. So this recording will be up on YouTube at C2M Percy Fulton Agent Training. And yeah, it was fun to chat with you guys, and we'll see you guys soon.